jockeying for position, hopefully for home court. Knicks shall want that badly. They're as good as it gets in the NBA. At home as Reeves drills one.
Luka Dončić has just delivered the most devastating blow to the Dallas Mavericks organization in franchise history. And what he revealed about his shocking trade to the Los Angeles Lakers has completely exposed the incompetence and desperation that led to the worst front office decision in NBA history. The 26-year-old superstar's explosive comments about his February 2025 trade have sent shockwaves through the basketball world, and the catastrophic details that have emerged paint a picture of organizational dysfunction so severe that it will haunt the Mavericks for decades to come. What happened behind the scenes during Luka's trade negotiations wasn't just poor management. It was systematic organizational malpractice that has left Dallas as the laughingstock of the entire NBA while simultaneously creating the biggest what-if scenario in modern basketball history. The trade itself represents one of the most lopsided deals ever executed in professional sports. Dallas sent their 26-year-old generational talent to Los Angeles in exchange for 32-year-old Anthony Davis, role player Max Christie, and a distant 2029 first-round pick. The age difference alone makes this trade look like highway robbery, but the deeper you examine the details, the more catastrophic this decision becomes. Luka Dončić, a top 5 player at age 26, was traded for Anthony Davis, who is 32, the brutal mathematics reveal. We're talking about trading away a player entering his prime for someone clearly on the decline, a decision so fundamentally flawed that it defies basic basketball logic. But the most damaging revelation came when it was discovered that the Mavericks consulted only a couple of teams about potential deals, missing out on other lucrative offers. This represents a complete failure of due diligence that has cost Dallas potentially franchise-altering assets. The Chicago Bulls' explosive revelation has made this disaster even more embarrassing for the Mavericks. Bulls executive Arturas Karnisovas and his front office would have offered anyone and everyone on the roster had they been notified by the Mavericks that Luka Dončić was available in February. Think about the implications of this statement. The Bulls were prepared to mortgage their entire future for Luka, potentially offering multiple first-round picks, young players, and established veterans in a package that could have dwarfed what the Lakers provided. Yet the Mavericks never even picked up the phone to explore this option. However, the Mavericks only engaged in trade discussions with the Lakers, and the Bulls' potential offer was never considered, the damning evidence reveals. This isn't just poor negotiation, this is organizational negligence of the highest order. The most infuriating part of this entire debacle is that the consensus among analysts is that the Mavericks made a hasty decision without fully exploring the market. In other words, Dallas panicked and took the first offer they received instead of conducting a proper auction for one of the NBA's most valuable assets. Luka's own reaction to being traded has been telling. The fact that the deal surprised not only fans but Doncic himself suggests that even the player at the center of the trade was blindsided by Dallas's incompetence. When your franchise player is shocked by your decision-making, that tells you everything about how poorly the situation was handled. The Lakers' acquisition of Luka has been described as one of the most significant trades in NBA history, and the first time 2 reigning All-NBA players were exchanged mid-season, but calling this an acquisition is generous. This was more like a heist executed in broad daylight while the Mavericks' front office slept through the robbery. Since joining Los Angeles, Luka has posted respectable numbers: 28.2 points, 8.1 assists, and 7.5 rebounds in 28 games. But even his performance has been overshadowed by the Lakers' disappointing playoff exit. The team fell short, exiting the playoffs in the first round after a loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves, which has only added to the controversy surrounding this blockbuster move. Critics have pointed to his defensive struggles and conditioning during the Timberwolves series, but these concerns pale in comparison to the long-term implications of what Dallas gave up. Even if Luka struggles initially in Los Angeles, he's still a 26-year-old superstar with his best years ahead of him. The fan reaction to the Bulls' revelation has been brutal but accurate. Did I miss the Bulls having anyone better than AD? That team is a pile of garbage. You couldn't even trade the entire roster for a third-team All-NBA player. One fan wrote, highlighting the perceived weakness of Chicago's potential offer. But this misses the point entirely. The issue isn't whether the Bulls had better individual players, the issue is that the Mavericks never gave them the chance to compete for Luka's services. Multiple first-round picks, young prospects, and salary cap flexibility could have created a package far superior to what Dallas received. For who? Vuk and Ayo. Another fan joked about the Bulls' roster, but again, this demonstrates the narrow thinking that plagued Dallas's approach. NBA trades aren't just about current roster talent, they're about future assets, draft capital, and long-term flexibility. The most damaging aspect of this entire fiasco is what it reveals about Dallas's organizational priorities. The Mavericks aimed for a win-now strategy, trading Doncic for Anthony Davis, but this logic is fundamentally flawed when you're trading a 26-year-old for a 32-year-old. If Dallas truly wanted to win now, they should have built around Luka, not traded him away. The fact that they believed Anthony Davis represented a better path to immediate success than Luka Dončić suggests a front office completely disconnected from basketball reality. The broader implications for the Mavericks' future are catastrophic. The Mavericks could face scrutiny over their trade strategy, impacting their roster decisions moving forward. But scrutiny is the least of their problems. They've traded away a generational talent in his prime and received declining assets in return. The ripple effects of this trade could redefine how organizations approach future transactions. And the lesson is clear. When you have a superstar available, you explore every possible option and create a competitive bidding environment. The Mavericks' failure to do this basic due diligence will be studied in business schools as an example of catastrophic negotiation failure. The most revealing line in this entire mess comes from post-trade analysis. The Luka Dončić trade exemplifies how critical thorough market exploration is in high-stakes negotiations. Dallas didn't just lose a superstar, they showed the league exactly how not to handle a franchise-altering decision. While future teams may learn from this and approach trades with more strategy, for the Mavericks, those conversations will only highlight their massive failure and lasting embarrassment. The Lakers may have just pulled off the trade of the decade, landing a 26-year-old Luka Dončić for aging pieces and minimal future risk. At the same time, Dallas handed over its franchise cornerstone without exploring stronger offers. Even if Luka's first Lakers playoff run fell short, LA now has a generational star locked in, and Dallas is left clinging to the fading hope that a 32-year-old Anthony Davis can carry them. Mavericks fans are justifiably furious, knowing their front office blew it historically. This wasn't just a loss, it was a meltdown, and the fallout could haunt Dallas for years.
Sims takes the inbound feed. Here's Plum, a hop in her step. Plum, the blow-by in the left hand.
What happens when a rising rookie meets a battle-tested champion and gets publicly humiliated on the court? One viral gesture, one fierce response, and a rivalry the WNBA didn't see coming. This isn't just about basketball. It's about pride, power, and the fire that's fueling Angel Reese's rise. And it all started with two words: too small. The Los Angeles Sparks were already in control of the game, up by double digits. Plum, known for her fearlessness and 2 WNBA titles, drove hard to the basket. Angel Reese, the rookie phenom with a reputation for toughness, stepped up to contest. Plum finished the play, then turned and flashed the too small hand gesture toward Reese. It wasn't subtle, it was sharp, and it sparked immediate debate. Plum's move wasn't just about one play, it was a message, a veteran laying claim to her territory. For someone like Plum, who's climbed to the top of the league with grit and persistence, a rookie like Reese, famous more for her college stardom and social presence, might feel like a challenger who hasn't earned her stripes yet. But here's where things get even more interesting. Plum didn't just drop the taunt and move on. She dominated. Scoring 28 points with 8 assists, she was the heartbeat of her team's win. It was a masterclass in experience, and it happened on a night where all eyes were already on Reese. Reese didn't clap back online. She didn't call out Plum in interviews. Instead, she played ball. Despite the Sky's 91-78 loss, Reese posted a strong double-double. 13 points, 12 rebounds, plus 4 assists and 2 steals. She was once again the team's most consistent performer and earned the Sky's Player of the Game nod. After the game, she simply said, "We have to stay together." Calm, focused, committed to the bigger picture. But off the court, the flames were already spreading. Reese had posted a bold photo with a self-assured caption shortly after another tough loss. Critics jumped on it, accusing her of caring more about clout than wins. Her fans, though, saw it differently. Confidence, resilience, branding. Welcome to the new WNBA, where players are more than athletes, they're brands. Reactions were split. Some praised Reese for staying true to herself amid adversity. Others said it was a bad look for a team still searching for its first win. Sports media amplified the drama. Debate shows questioned her leadership. Twitter lit up with comparisons. Reese versus Plum, old school versus new school, respect versus bravado. And while all that was happening, the WNBA got something it desperately needed. Tension, drama, a story to follow. Because whether you love or hate the taunt, one thing's certain. It made people care. Rivalries build leagues. They give casual fans a reason to tune in. And Reese versus Plum is shaping up to be just that. This wasn't just a rookie being put in her place. It was the start of something bigger. A visible, gripping rivalry that the WNBA needs more of. These moments are crucial. They create storylines. They draw eyeballs. They give fans reasons to care long after the final whistle. For a league hungry for spotlight, this was pure gold. Angel Reese didn't just arrive in the WNBA, she exploded onto the scene. A viral star in college nicknamed the Bayou Barbie, she's become known for her confidence, her outspoken nature, and her hustle. But with the spotlight comes scrutiny. Every post, every comment, every mistake. It's part of the deal when you're one of the most followed rookies in league history. Reese's mother and O'Neal sported custom-made shirts with animations of the LSU star on the front. On the back, the shirt said, "Bayou Barbie is my favorite senior," referring to Reese's well-known nickname. Her journey to this point wasn't easy. Reese battled her way through injuries, critics, and an ever-growing spotlight during her college career. She transformed herself into a household name with raw emotion, incredible talent, and a willingness to speak her mind. That same boldness followed her into the pros, and it's not going anywhere. So far, Reese is doing her job. She's putting up solid numbers, she leads the Sky in rebounds, she plays with fire, but the team is 0-3. And when your team loses, even your best performances get buried under criticism. That's the paradox Reese is navigating, playing well while the team struggles and taking heat for things out of her control. Meanwhile, Kelsey Plum didn't need to say anything after the taunt. Her play spoke volumes, but that didn't stop fans from dissecting her every move. Some argued she crossed a line. Others said it was just good old-fashioned competition. Either way, Plum left her mark and lit a fire that's still burning. The Sky's next test? The Phoenix Mercury. Another chance for Reese and her team to reset and refocus. Another shot to show that this isn't just talk. Reese knows all eyes are on her now, not just for the numbers she posts, but for how she leads, how she responds, how she carries herself through adversity. There's also another layer to this drama, one that goes beyond the court. Reese represents a new generation of athletes who blend sport with social media, activism, and influence. She's not just a player, she's a brand. Every outfit, every caption, every comment, it's all part of her narrative. And in a league that's growing fast, that kind of visibility is invaluable. In her post-game remarks, Reese didn't fan the flames. She didn't shade Plum or whine about the loss. She emphasized team unity. That might be the most mature thing anyone said all night, because while rivalries are fun, championships are built on trust, sacrifice, and togetherness. Reese knows that, and she's trying to show it.
I'm just trying to focus on what I need to do for the team. I know my teammates need me to facilitate and rebound and do a lot of things on the defensive end. So just letting the game come to me, but I know what my teammates need me to do every night. So I try to do it as best as I can to do that.
This moment, taunt and all, has sparked bigger questions about what it means to be a star in today's WNBA. Can you be flashy and humble? Can you post bold selfies and still be seen as a team-first player? Can you be marketable and mature at the same time? Reese is living in that tension, and her every move is teaching us something new about the modern athlete. She's young, she's learning, but she's not backing down. Every challenge she faces is shaping her. Every loss is teaching her, and every headline, good or bad, is helping build her legacy. This wasn't just a game. It was a statement from Plum, from Reese, from fans, from the league. The too small taunt will be replayed in highlight reels and rehashed in debates. But it's what happens next that really matters. Because Angel Reese isn't just fighting for rebounds. She's fighting for respect, for growth, and for the next chapter of her story.
Sims takes the inbound feed. Here's Plum, a hop in her step. Plum, the blow-by in the left hand.
And if there's one thing we know about her already, it's this. She's not backing down. Not from Plum, not from criticism, not from the moment. The WNBA has its next great rivalry, and we're all here for it. If you want more behind-the-scenes stories, rising rivalries, and bold moments from the WNBA, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This season's just getting started, and trust us, you won't want to miss what happens next.
The swap for Luka Dončić and Anthony Davis is one of the most shocking trades in NBA history to date. And after that, it took some time for Luka to find his groove here in Los Angeles and be ready to talk about what happened.
He didn't hold a press conference. He didn't post a goodbye. Just one text and Luka Dončić was gone. But what happened behind the scenes after the NBA's most shocking trade left the Mavericks in ruins? And why does his silence speak louder than any headline? In February 2025, the NBA was hit with a shockwave that no one saw coming. Luka Dončić, the face of the Dallas Mavericks and arguably one of the top 5 players in the league, was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. It wasn't just a major move, it was historic. This marked the first time 2 reigning All-NBA players had been swapped mid-season. The Mavericks received Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick, while the Lakers added Doncic to their already star-studded lineup. Jason Kidd, the Mavericks head coach, revealed in a candid interview that he only learned of the trade an hour before it was announced publicly. His last communication with Doncic was a single text message sent the morning of the deal. He never got a reply. I don't think he was too happy, Kidd admitted, acknowledging the emotional whiplash the young star must have felt. For someone who had poured his heart into Dallas, the trade hit hard.
I texted him on that morning, and that's the last time I've talked to him.
How did he respond to your text?
I don't think he was too happy.
Fans were devastated. Luka wasn't just a franchise player, he was supposed to be the next Dirk Nowitzki, a loyal cornerstone for years to come. The abruptness of the trade and the silence surrounding it before the announcement only fueled the outrage. Questions swirled about what led to this decision and whether internal tensions or long-term vision shifts in the Mavericks front office played a part. Dallas, now left with a reshuffled roster, hoped the inclusion of Anthony Davis would keep them afloat. But the basketball gods had other plans. Davis strained his left adductor during his first game. Then, Kyrie Irving tore his ACL. P.J. Washington, Derek Lively, and Daniel Gafford all found themselves on the injured list as well. The team, once brimming with playoff ambitions, spiraled into chaos. The trade that was supposed to save the season ended up burying it. Yet, in the middle of the wreckage, a miracle happened. With only a 1.8% chance of winning, the Mavericks secured the top pick in the 2025 NBA Draft Lottery. Suddenly, Duke phenom Cooper Flagg was within reach. For a team desperate to mend its image and revive hope among fans, this was the lifeline they needed. It wasn't just about a fresh start, it was a chance to reset the franchise.
The Dallas Mavericks had a 1.8% chance to win the #1 pick overall in next month's draft.
1.8% chance of winning, the Mavericks secured the top pick in the 2025 NBA Draft Lottery. While Dallas tried to patch its wounds, Doncic began his new journey in Los Angeles. The spotlight in LA is unlike anywhere else, but Luka seemed unfazed. In his debut with the Lakers, he posted a smooth 14 points in just 24 minutes. He gelled quickly with LeBron James and Austin Reeves, sparking talks of a dynamic new trio that could push deep into the playoffs. But the hype didn't last long. The Lakers bowed out in the first round, eliminated by the red-hot Minnesota Timberwolves. Luka's stats were strong: 30.2 points, 7 rebounds, and 5.8 assists per game in the playoffs, but it wasn't enough. And for critics, the numbers didn't tell the full story. Enter Al Harrington, former NBA forward and now outspoken analyst. In a postseason discussion, Harrington raised eyebrows when he suggested that Luka simply couldn't maintain peak performance across an entire season.